Hey y'all, Coach Cam and the Professor back again. It is Friday, which means we are bringing you more game lines and player props for this weekend's NFL slate. We're on week 9. All right, so is that the halfway point? I'm pretty sure week 9 is the halfway point.
Yep.
So it's just flying by. Both football seasons are just flying by. Last week, just a quick update. I was 3-3 total, so if you follow me, you didn't lose too terribly, but not our best week. Falcons money line hit for us. Jameis went over his passing yards, and Najee Harris went over his rush yards. So 1-2 on game lines, 2-1 on player props. Will, do you want to give an update on how you did?
Not really. Um, I went 0 for 3 on player props and 1 and
Okay.
2 on game lines. The only thing that hit for me was there was one. Let's see, where did it go? The only thing that hit for me was Lions minus 11.5, but that was the one against you. So bragging
That is
rights.
true. Yeah, that is true because
That's the only.
I, that's such an L for me because the Titans weren't even sniffing a cover
No,
after like the second quarter. I
no.
was feeling so like I was so confident in the first quarter because of like they were moving the ball, right?
They
Like they were
were
actually like the
moving
offense looked
things.
good. Calvin Ridley looked good. I was like, okay. And then I mean they fell apart. I mean just catastrophically. So yeah, that's my fault. You should have listened to Will. Good job if you did.
But on everything else, I listened.
So we got standings for the college football picks. I'm thinking once we get Brandon on here, I think we maybe do some standings for this as well, at least because I think we'll probably get him next week. And
Yeah,
then for the back half of the season, we'll probably do
yeah.
some
We'll start.
updated standings for
We'll
that.
start that next week though, so I don't start like 3 and 10.
Yeah, and I'm missing out on my 6-0 the week before. So yeah, I guess it'll be a clean slate. That's fine. All right, let's get into it. So we'll start game lines first. Go ahead. What's your first one?
Oddly enough, I'm backing the Patriots. Patriots plus 3.5 versus the Titans that we just mentioned. Hopefully, hopefully Drake May plays. I think he will end up playing. Um, but even regardless, I think this Patriots team, like for some reason, they know how to keep a game close at least. And I can like, it's it's 3.5. It's a good number. Like Titans can win on a game-winning field goal and I still cover. So
Yeah.
um, I think it's just too high of a number, especially this game is going to be low scoring. I could literally see it being 15 to 12 on only field goals.
Yeah, the Titans have that demon line that minus 3.5 that I always hate betting on. I almost always like automatically pick a cover on that, especially if it's the Titans who I may not pick them to cover ever again after this past week. My first one, I'm going to take the Broncos. I think the line Broncos plus 10. I'm not taking them to win the ball game, so don't get it twisted. I think minus 10 on a team that I think the Broncos are what they lack in like talent. I think they're just a very sound football team, and I think they're going to be able to keep the football game close. Lamar's health is a little bit questionable. I think he probably plays, but if he's any type of limited, I think that helps the Broncos as well. And I also think Bo Nix is getting better as the weeks go on. So I'm going to take the Broncos plus 10. They're going to keep it competitive.
Yeah, 10 is such a high number too. Like
For a team with a winning record, like
yeah,
they're not a bad football team.
yeah. My next one, um, s- sad to say it, but Joe Flacco is starting for the Colts. I will say I don't think it's on Anthony Richardson. Some of it is, yes, but he had 4 touchdowns dropped in the last game. The receivers were not helping him out at all, and also I don't think Shane Steichen's a good coach, but also Anthony Richardson has not been good at all. So, um, but the one thing that is driving me to this is Vikings minus 5. The Vikings love to blitz, and the only thing Anthony Richardson was doing at an elite rate was getting away from potential sacks.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco's not going to do that.
no,
So yeah, Vikings minus 5.
I like that. Their Vikings are coming off a couple tough losses too, so it's a good opportunity for a bounce back game. I'm gonna go. This one I just wrote down, just updated. I was gonna take it anyways, but now it's a best bet for me. Rams money line. We got word that DK Metcalf is gonna be out. Noah Fant is also gonna be out. So that's a couple of Geno Smith's weapons that he's not gonna have. And I've seen the Seahawks offense without DK Metcalf. It's not the same. Stafford got his targets back. He's got his boys. Cup looks good. Nakua looked amazing. I don't know how his knee's doing, but hopefully it's not a long-term thing with
He's
him.
questionable, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're kind of monitoring that. But if he's got Cup, I think that's enough for him, especially with Kyron. And the way he runs the offense anyway, Stafford is just an elite quarterback when it comes to maneuvering defenses to get what he wants. Money line's only at minus 120, so I'm just going to take that. If you want to take I think it's minus 2.5, you can do that as well. If they win by a field goal in my mind. So Rams money line.
Yeah, I like that one. I think Cup actually gets a full workload this week, and then Puka's going to do what he did last week and play 50% of the snaps, but still go
Yep.
for 120 yards somehow. Um, my next one, Browns Chargers over 42. Jameis slings it. He's going to sling it again. And quietly, Justin Herbert has been elite the past 2 weeks. Lad is coming into his own. And I think this Chargers offense is something like they run the ball well, then they use Justin Herbert off play action where he is at his best, and then Lad is the short guy, runs a route, first guy in, last guy out type of guy. Um, but
Brings his
yeah,
lunch pail. Yeah.
oh yeah, over 42 for that game.
I like that. It's a nice low line with a couple of teams that, if you, I think like week 2 or week 3, that line is like scary and you take the under automatically. But I think both of these teams offensively look a lot better. So I think 42's, I think that's a good over.
Yeah,
My last one, I think this has been my go-to for like the last 3 weeks. Anyone playing the Panthers, keep an eye on the lines. It could change. Carr is definitely playing. I The word is Bryce Young is also playing. Subject to change, maybe, but I feel pretty confident about both of those. Saints -7 if it stays that way. To be honest, if it's -10, I wouldn't hesitate either. I think Derek Carr, he said he wasn't their savior, but I beg to differ with the quarterback play that's been going on with the Saints since he came out. They need him back in the worst way, so I think he's coming back at a great time. If the line remains that way, Saints -7, and I'll probably still take it if it's 8 or 9.
sweet. We
Um,
getting player
yep.
props.
So let's do player props now. Same deal. We'll go back and forth. Go ahead and start with your first one.
Now, this is one that I am taking advantage of Joe Flacco being back. Every game with Joe Flacco, he's had a pretty good game, except one, I think. So I'm going to go him, Josh Downs, over 60.5 receiving yards. I think he's hit this, like, he hit this with Anthony Richardson last week, which he normally does not. So I think he's actually coming into his own. He's the easy number 2 there, and he's the short, fast twitch guy. So yeah, and Joe Flacco loves him over 60.5.
It's good. I'm gonna go Kyle Pitts over 48 yards. I think he had a little bit of a breakout last week. I mean, he's had quite a few good games, I think, but he was a main target this past week, facing a Cowboys defense that can't stop the run for one thing. So probably going to load the box. It's going to make it tougher. They'll probably put Pitts on the outside more, maybe run him some slot. So he's going to get some pretty good advantage situations where he can make plays one-on-one. And I have him doing that. You could probably pick a Falcons receiver and be pretty comfortable with their over, I'll be honest. But I'm going to go Kyle Pitts over 48 yards.
Yeah, my next one I think it's my favorite one, which means it's not gonna hit, so don't take it. But Cup over 6 receptions. Um, Even if Puka plays, I still think he's gonna hit this. Especially if Puka doesn't play, he's gonna hit this. He had 5 catches last week and played like 52% of the snaps. Stafford loves throwing the ball to this man. I mean, for good reason, because he's elite. But and 6 has such good push potential as well. Mm, like he's. I was looking at fantasy score, receiving yards, and then I saw 6 receptions, and it's a no-brainer for me.
He's going to get 20 targets, so probably a good chance he catches 6 of those. I'm going Chris Olave. His line has increased dramatically, but I'm still going to take it because he is by far the main target. Chris Olave over 69.5. Easily the number one target for David Carr. He's always at a good rapport, Derek Carr, sorry. Always had a good rapport with him. I see that continuing. I think his options are going to be limited anyways. They're going to probably force feed him. So 69.5 seems like a relatively low number for me. So I'm comfortable with the over for that.
My next one, he's hit it in his past 2 games, and I want to say he's hit it in every game that Tua plays. Um, and it's just such a low number. I didn't expect it to be this low. A-Chain over 50.5 rushing yards. He's one play. He's the most he's one of the most explosive running backs in the NFL.
Yep.
He's one touch away from that.
Yeah, he's a home
Uh,
run hitter.
like he could be at 9 carries for 20 yards and then breaks off a 50-yarder. So, and like his speed and the fact that they're also giving him like 15 plus carries a game is, I think 50.5 is a no-brainer.
Yeah. My last one, we're going Pat Mahomes. I am going to pick this every week, probably for the rest of the year. Once you get to the back half of the season or close to it, this is when Pat Mahomes turns it on. 2 touchdowns is only at minus 120. So even if he doesn't have a great game, like he's still probably going to throw some touchdowns. So I feel more than comfortable taking a risk there. Pat Mahomes, 2 touchdowns, minus 120. That is the one that I feel the best about, my lock of the week, so to speak. Okay, so random touchdown getter. We are 0 for 4 on these combined, so the streak will end this weekend. Go ahead and do yours first. One of these two is hitting. Folks, I guarantee it.
I feel it. I feel it. Um, Last week, some unfortunate circumstances had the backup tight end for the Broncos scoring a touchdown at plus 700, and the third string tight end scored a touchdown.
On the right
Uh,
track.
yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, and that's why we did even more research. We dug in, and Alec Pierce plus 350 is scoring a touchdown this week. He's the deep threat. The Minnesota Vikings secondary isn't that great. He's gonna get probably 2 looks. He just has to catch one.
He's got to catch one of them. I like always. That's always a good pick. I like Alec Pierce. I think It's interesting how he's utilized. He's just like the home run hitter. He's like a Shaheed for the Saints, kind
Yes.
of like that same route runner. All right, my guy. We're gonna go. I'm a little more random here. We're gonna go Lil Jordan Humphrey, receiver for the Denver Broncos. He's at plus 500. Been watching the Broncos games. He's been getting more and more involved as the weeks go on. He had 6 targets, I believe, this past week, caught 4 of them, 30 something yards, getting more involved. He's 6'4". He is like a 50-50 guy. So he is someone that will be in the end zone in a go up and make a play kind of scenario. And I think he goes up and makes a play for us this weekend. So Lil Jordan Humphrey plus 500 is going to get a touchdown on Sunday. All right, that's going to do it. You got anything else?
No, I think this is the week where it turns around. I feel it. There's no way I can do worse than last week
No,
unless I literally miss every single pick, which is not happening.
no.
And if I only hit one again, it's gonna be Alec Pierce.
That's the one that matters. It's going to win you money. No, I wrote it down. Got a great feeling about this weekend. I literally wrote that down. Okay, so we will see you guys next Wednesday for college football program. Make sure you follow the Instagram page at HTL_sports_betting. There's more free picks on that page, so go ahead and give a follow there. Other than that, thank you guys, and we will see you next time.
Peace.